the equipment, all that stuff. It's not, what you do with it is essential, but not necessarily, the type of a light and stuff.
So your choice to go with Arri instead of Panavision for Munich wasn't that didn't affect
no, it's just
things at all.
Sentiments. You go to Europe, you work with the European equipment. That's all.
So you've done a couple of historical films that are very iconic. And some people might even argue that when you make a film like Schindler's List, or when you make a film like Saving Private Ryan,
Its parts, yes.
That in some ways, I mean, you're very much informing people's recollection of that time period, particularly for those folks that weren't around to experience it firsthand. Do you carry any kind of sense of responsibility when you're creating those images?
No, because the way I look at the images that influence me are images. Let's start from the beginning. What influences me are the images that hopefully were taken during the particular period, right? I mean, of course, if you're talking about 1890 and slavery, there are not that many photos, and the images were very deteriorated, or, period movies. But if you're talking about Second World War, there's a definitely very large library of images that you can use as your resource, right? But the problem with those images is that, if you're a combat cameraman and you're sitting there in the field, you're not going to be running with that camera because then you're going to get shot, right? So you sit behind the rack or behind some kind of a obstruction, you've got a long lens, and you capture the images that way. Well, we were not creating dangerous situations, so I was able to come up with visual style that allowed the audience to feel like they participating in the war. So the camera was handheld. Usually the camera was just one single camera following the actors. When the actors fell down, the operator would fall down, that kind of stuff. The explosions were happening left and right. So you had this immediacy of the war that frequently combat cameramen would not be able to convey, simply because they would not expose themselves to that kind of a danger. You're looking at documentary footage, and of course you understand intellectually how powerful the war was, but you're really not feeling emotionally what that war feels like. And then again, our recollection of periods, the 1890s, warm, 70s, fluorescent and ugly, that kind of stuff. So war is usually black and white, particularly the Second World War, but they just discovered recently a large library of George Stevens's color movies, and they were amazing. It's amazing to see war in color.